Hello friends and felines, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, it's actually going to be about hair and not about makeup for once. But if you are curious on how I did my makeup look that I'm currently wearing right now, that video will be linked up here or down here or somewhere about, so you can go check that out if you are curious. Now today's video will be about hair and more specifically about curly hair. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I got these curls for today and what method I've been using, then definitely keep on watching. So today we are discussing the Curly Girl Method. The Curly Girl Method was originally a book written by Lorraine Massey, or Massey, however you pronounce it. And it's just a basic overall guideline to how to maintain your curls, and as well as just a lifestyle change, and just to try to bring out your natural curls and get the best and healthiest hair you can achieve. So there are a lot of different components to this method, and today's video is just going to be a very basic overview of what it is. So overall, there are different guidelines on do's and don'ts, things to avoid and things to bring into your routine. But first and most importantly, you want to figure out what type of curl pattern you have. So there is curl pattern 2, and that is going to be more of your waves. And then there's 2A, B, and C. Then you move on to level 3 or style 3, as well as A, B, and C. And this is going to be more of your curls. So I fall into that category. And then you have your category 4, and that is going to be your coils, your locks, your kinks. So that's going to be more of your natural textured hairs. And again, there is A, B, and C for that category as well. So one good way to figure out what type of curl pattern you are is by going to naturallycurly.com and taking their quiz. Again, I will link all of this information down below so you guys can go check it out for yourself. So when I went ahead and took this quiz, I found out that I obviously have curly hair. I am type 3B, maybe a little bit 3A, but I do have ringlets that are about the circumference of a Sharpie. So that's the kind of curl pattern that I have. Now what's more important is your kind of porosity and density and width of your hair as well. So I kind of fall into the medium category for all 3 of those. And depending on those different categories, depends on exactly how often you shampoo your hair, if you co-wash, if you deep condition, or do any kind of treatments or masks. So the guidelines for my type of hair of 3B is that they recommend you wash your curls at least 1 to 3 times a week, either with shampoo or a co-wash. Deep condition weekly to maintain your curls. Use an anti-humectant humidity blocking styling cream or styling milk for less frizz and more definition, and to reach for hair gels with nourishing oils. So as you go onto this website and figure out what type of curl pattern you have, they will they have suggestions for products and readings and further information. There's also categories and topics and forums you can go on and ask questions and see what people are talking about. But the next category is porosity. And so medium porosity is for, or like people that have medium porosity, it requires the least amount of maintenance. So this says that the cuticle layer is looser, allowing the right amount of moisture to enter while preventing too much from escaping. So I mean, sometimes my hair feels dry, but for the most part, if I condition it well or leave in some conditioner, it feels moisturized. So let's see, this says that it tends to hold styles well. It can be permed or colored with predictable results, but over time that's obviously going to lead to more damage and more dryness. So it says again to occasionally deep condition treatments, but not to include too many proteins. So I do condition all the time. I leave in conditioner almost daily, and I'll do some more deep conditioning maybe once every week or week and a half. When it comes to protein, I do have a protein treatment, but I probably do that like once a month. So then moving on to density, if you have medium density, you can use a variety of products. Different ones will have different results. So like mousses will give you a more voluminized look. And then if you do something heavier, like a Smoothie cream or a gel or something like that, it will weigh your curls down, but you'll get more of like those ringlets. Now my curly hair has changed over time. I used to say Beyonce's old curls. I'll insert a picture of that real quick. But yeah, my curls used to be like that. They were totally different than what they are now. And that's just because I used to cut my hair like crazy. I would donate, 10, 12, 13 inches, I think is the most I ever donated for, kids with cancer and making wigs for them. Seeing how my brother was a cancer survivor was very important to me. And obviously I've color treated my hair a bunch of times. I used to box dye my hair. I was purple, I was red, try to go blonde. Yeah, that was a mistake. Black. And so now with my career path and my career choices, I'm keeping it more neutral and keeping it with my browns and not obviously using box dye. I haven't used box dye in a really long time, but that's one thing to consider, because if you dye your hair too much, it will definitely do some damage. Now the last thing is the hair width, and that is your individual like strands of hair. And mine again is the medium, like width, so they're long and elastic. They're not too thin, not too thick, but it is a little resistant to damage, and so it helps maintain length. And that's one thing I always noticed when I cut my hair, is my hair would grow back so fast. My sister would often complain that, my sister would complain that my hair would grow back so fast. Every time she cut hers would grow back really, really slow. All right, so once you figure out all that information about your hair, then you can go in and try to figure out what products you do and do not want to avoid or include into your regimen. So overall, the curly hair method, curly girl method, says to avoid sulfates, to avoid any kind of sulfate shampoo. You can have a sulfate-free shampoo. You can use low poo shampoos, or you can use co-washes. They say to avoid heat styling. So like I don't style my hair that often. I do own a flat iron or a straightener. I probably straighten my hair like twice a year, maybe. I do blow dry my hair sometimes, like if it's negative 20 degrees outside and I don't want it to freeze, or it's just like soaking wet and I need to get out of the house really quick, I'll just do a quick blow dry with a diffuser. But other than that, I don't use a lot of heat styling. They also say to avoid colors or coloring your hair. Thanks, dude. Avoid coloring your hair, avoid brushing your hair. There are certain brushes you can use, or to stick with wide tooth combs or picks. Yes, can I help you? Yeah. They also say to avoid non-water soluble silicones, drying alcohols, regular towels. So use like a cotton t-shirt or one of those. Dude, what do you want? Yeah? Yeah? Sorry guys, my cat's freaking out. He wants food. So again, you could either use a cotton towel or one of those, like soft microfiber towels. That's the word I was looking for. So those are just like the basic things to avoid. And again, you need to figure out what type of moisture to protein treatment you want to include into your curly girl method and your techniques and everything. So that is the basics of the curly girl method. Obviously, like I would suggest getting that book by Lorraine Massey, or going on to these websites and stuff that I will link down below, and just try to read up about as much of this information as you can before you start doing anything. Before I go into anything though, one thing that's thrown out a lot is the brand Diva Curl. That's the curl product, I guess, that I was told to use, and it was a good one for starting off with the curly girl method. I'm not saying do not, but I highly suggest and highly recommend that you do not get anything from Diva Curl. Just not good. I will spill the tea on that in a future video, but please just avoid that. Really quick, some products that I really, really like is like Marc Anthony, the Strictly Curls brand. Shea Moisture, like you can get it at Walmart or drugstores, is another great one. And if you're curious on what you should and shouldn't be getting by looking at the ingredients, there is a isitcgapproved.com website where you can type in all the ingredients, which can take a while, and you can figure out what type of ingredients are in there, if they're good for you, if they're bad, is it CG approved or not. So I'll do a quick little example of that. All right, so the one that I'm gonna type in to see if it's CG approved or not was something I got in a FabFitFun box, and that is by AG Hair Care, their fast food leave-on conditioner. So again, I use leave-on conditioner almost every single day, so I would love to use this if it is CG approved. So after typing in all of the ingredients down here, which are really hard to spell, and getting them right, overall, here's what I found. So there is a not CG approved ingredient in here, and that is a silicone that you should be avoiding. This one is called amodimethicone. But that is the only ingredient in here that was not CG approved, and this is about like 10th ingredients down. So it's up to you if you want to include that into your routine or not. Then there are some CG approved but with caution ingredients, and some of these are like chelating agents. But apparently these bind to metal ions and metallic compounds and prevent them to adhere to your hair. So they work to detox it from mineral and potentially toxic metal buildup. But they say you should use these sparingly, like once a month. So that ingredient was tetrasodium EDTA. Then they have some conditioning agents that they are catatonic surfactants. And they can be used as an effective mild cleanser in a conditioner form. They are water soluble, but they can build up over time. So again, you might just want to use this sparingly. And some of those are like your chlorides. Then there are the proteins. You can either avoid or like use them again for your hair, depending on what type of hair you have. But if you have protein sensitive hair, it can begin to feel stiff, frizzy, or dry. And again, I think my hair likes a little bit of protein, but not too much. So again, this is fine if I just use this in small increments or sparingly over time. Some of those were like amino acids and keratin. Then some other ones are like perfumes or fragrances. They might not affect your curly hair as much, but they might lead to some skin irritation, so just be cautious with that. Then some of the CG approved ingredients in here are like gentle cleansers. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but there are some in here, as well as some moisturizing alcohols. So not every alcohol is bad and drying. There are some that are moisturizing, and that is like cetyl alcohol and cetyl alcohol. That's how you pronounce it. And then there are the film forming humectants, and these are excellent moisturizing ingredients. They form a film over the hair that will help resist dehydration, and they're safe to use in low dew points. So a lot of these were like the extracts in here. So there's like aloe, there's rosemary, sage, wild cherry, hops, nettle. So like all of those extracts are kind of like along what those humectants are. And then there's synthetic preservatives, and these help to prevent the growth of microorganisms. And then there's a whole list that are probably okay. They're either okay to use or there's not an exact match in their database. So you can take that whole list of all the information and determine if this is a product you want to use. So like the first thing, if you don't want to type all this in, is to look for the drying alcohols. Or if you see any type of sulfates, you do not probably want to use those. And then silicones obviously are going to have that suffix at the end. It's like the amodimethicone is like a silicone. But yeah, just looking at those really quickly at the store or typing some of these in really quick just to see if it's good for you can help you determine if that's a good product for you to get. So for this one, I will probably try it out, see if it does anything for my hair. If it works, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, then I might give it to my mom. But I think this one I'll be safe enough to try. Again, I'll probably be using this once a month if I use it. So yeah, guys, that is just a quick overall basic of the curly girl method. I don't want to go into too much detail about certain topics. I will break down the topics and do more videos. But I mean, that was a lot of information just for an overall basics video. But if you guys are interested in what I am sharing about the curly girl method, then definitely subscribe and ring the bell so you guys can see future videos like this. And again, all the products that I use to create these curls for today, which I think I'm having a good curly hair day, those will also be in the description down below. And if you guys stayed here to watch me, then I appreciate you. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. And if you subscribe to my channel, I welcome you to my Feline family. Bye, guys.